G'day fellas, and welcome to game number 2 between Vortex, who spawns in the north of the map, playing the Rus, and his opponent towards the south of the map. It is the Mister, who is also playing the Rus. If you wouldn't like to get spoiled, then I encourage you to go back and watch the first video in this series. It will be the video that was immediately uploaded before this one. Otherwise, spoiler alert, the first game was won by Vortex. And this map is the home map of the Mister. So we'll take a look at how these players are, how they are shaping their early game. Mister going to be scouting out his shoreline, looking for a good little place to pop down his dock. He's managed to find a deep sea fish over towards the center of the pond. His opponent on the other side, will take a look exactly how Vortex is going to be able to do it. So Vortex is going to be opening up with a double scout opening. Now this is very dangerous. This is something that we actually saw a little bit earlier in another series. So if you open up with a double scout, then you are wasting your resources on a scout. And, and that's not something that you want to be doing. So typically what you want to be doing is spending all of your resources on getting up to the next age. Just getting enough gold out to age up. And really that's what your goal is. And you can see that Mister is trying his best to collect all of that that bounty gold. Obviously his opponent Vortex is going to be collecting it a little bit faster because he's got the 2 scouts out. But it's important to remember that it might not seem like a lot, but that 70 food really starts adding up. And at the same time, it's that extra villager that is going to keep adding up as well. So both players going to be going for a dock. It looks like down towards this position. Vortex has found some deep water fish as well. And both players now over towards the side of the Mister, going to be trying their best to actually get in a couple of shots here. So these guys are playing Mexican standoff. And Oh! I didn't know that you could do that. That's very, very sneaky right there. Okay, so basically what's happening here is because the animation cancelling from scouts on their ranged attack is gone, and that went out quite a way away, players now have to try and get these scouts. You've got one option, or you've got a couple of options. Option number 1 is you build a second scout, and then you can just one-shot the deer and you don't have to worry. Option number 2, which is what Vortex is doing here, is you come in, take a shot, and then you want to scare the deer away. And at the same time as scaring the deer away, you're trying to block your opponent, and then you're trying to get in your second shot before they can get in their first shot and take the gold. And so that's essentially what he was doing. I got a little bit excited there. I'm trying to remember exactly what it was. Oh, it was because the Mister got an auto attack in, and the auto attack cooldown is slightly longer, as far as I'm aware, than the auto attack of the range. And so we saw Mister do an auto attack on a sheep, I think. Yeah, on a sheep. And then Vortex went straight in for a deer and got the kill immediately. So there you go. That's your little bit of, that's your little factoid for the beginning of the game. But Mister now gonna be going with the build order that is sort of taken over the Boulder Bay. It is a classic right here. You can see 7 villagers on that Golden Gate. Going to be looking to get it up extra fast. A huge amount of villagers now moving over towards the wood line as well. Not a lot of villagers back here left on food. In fact, I would say that there are no villagers left on food, with the exception of this little bad girl right here. What you doing, little fella? She is on the shoreline fish. And that's really it. So he's only got a handful of fishing boats out at the moment as well. Probably going to get housed right now, but he's not too fussed about that. He doesn't worry. What he's doing is he's trying to get up to the next age as quickly as possible, and he's going to begin moving over towards his opponent and going to be what's the word? Transforming, I think? Converting. He's going to be converting his ships to attack ships. So probably going to be looking to trade out 100 of his food for 150 of the gold. And then subsequently he's going to be doing that. So we'll see how he plays it out. Back on the other side though, we'll keep in mind there are 2 players in this. There's Vortex with 9 villagers on his age up landmark. Realizes that he's a little bit behind, so he's probably going to have to play catch up here. A lot of fishing boats coming out for him, and interestingly going to be separating them up. And this is a smart move. Because he's going up against the Rus, he knows that the Rus is going to be on the offensive. And as a result, he begins splitting them up. Because the more you can split them up, as you can see right here, Mister is doing not the best job of tracking his enemy's fishing boats. Ideally, you would want these bad boys right on top of your enemy fishing boats. So as soon as they pop, you're able to just immediately start shooting. And speaking of shooting, it looks like now we've got Mister who's going to begin shooting towards the enemy fishing boats. You can see that they were traveling slow for a very short amount of time. Some of these were converting. They've stopped now and back towards the base of Mister. It does, or back towards the base of Vortex. It looks like one of these is converting. 2 of them converting. The third one wasn't converting, but they're trying their best to convert. Looks like a couple of them managed to get inside the dock. They're sitting back here towards the back of the dock, and now it looks like the conversion is going to be finalized and confirmed coming in now. And Mr. begins spamming off towards his opponent a whole bunch of attack ships. You can see he's really just cutting resources completely here and just trying to look towards the wood line, getting in plenty of trades going on now. And it does appear like Vortex is going to be able to hold here. It does only have a handful of fishing boats, so only 2 fishing boats left at this point in time. Has got the dock to naturally heal up, and you can see how much damage these attack ships are taking, but at the same time being healed up by the fishing boats on the back, doing a great job, and managing to actually keep that bad boy alive. 46 health on that. And now going to be trying to fight off. You can see it's the 2-on-1 situation right there. And now the second attack ship going to be coming out and forcing these attack ships to be running away. And Mr. walking away with his tail between his legs. Got to be careful. Might actually lose this last attack ship if he's not careful. Brings forward his own attack ship that's on a lower health. And actually going to be trying to trade out with his opponent. I think he's going to get the shots off. No, he's fired off at the wrong one. Jeez, this is actually not too bad of an opening right here. Typically, you'd expect a game like this to be a little bit more decisive when it comes to the water, but we can definitely see the way these two guys are trading between their attack ships, that they're talking about serious business. Keep in mind they're macroing behind this, or at least trying to macro behind this. You can see Mr. sort of forgetting about the fact he's got 500 wood in the bank. All right, back towards Mr.'s base. He's got 3 attack ships, 2 out in the open ocean. 5 in total. Up towards the base of Vortex, you can see he's got 3 fishing boats. Got to be careful with this little villager right here. If he's not careful, he will lose that. But it looks like Vortex at the moment going to be adding in his second lumber camp, getting a little bit closer. You can see he's got plenty of villagers here on food. I'm assuming that's just to sell into gold, but now it looks like the push going to be coming out. Vortex going to be trying his best. Manages to actually pull back one of those Lodger attack ships. Second one coming through for Mr., who's going to be trying his best. We'll enter into the cinematic mode so we can get a better idea of what's going on here. We can see all the ships from Vortex have got this little circle around it. That's probably the best way to identify them. A couple of them managing to go down, but it looks like the trades have been relatively even at this point in time, and Mr. once again going to be falling back towards his docks. He's now got the double dock up. A little bit of a graphical glitch right there, but we'll take a look at his base and see exactly what he's got going on. And try and understand a little bit more inside the mine. You can see double village up production. Still not at 150. He's sitting on 135 at the moment compared to the 195 of his opponent. But I'll be honest, it's really not an important thing on this map to be focusing that much on hunting down the Gaia. The main thing is hunting down your enemy's fishing boats, preventing them from building up a decent mass, and Vortex did an impressive job of holding on. I was quite concerned seeing how late his Golden Gate was coming up. We've seen players tap out at the 5-minute mark when they've been behind in this matchup. It can be incredibly difficult to hold. We've seen players attempt to do an in-water wooden fortress. So what you can do is you can sort of put your dock maybe down here around this position, and you can put your wooden fortress right here. You can there's an interesting way that you can place it so that it's out here in the shallows. And I don't think you'd be able to get it out this far, but you could definitely get it out this far, and then you can garrison shorefish villages inside that. They do a huge amount of damage, and that really gives you a strong standing point, and you can look to get into the third age with that, get your demolition ships out, all that good stuff. But neither player looking to do that at this point in time. You can see their resources are very, very low here. But still just maintaining the single dock at the moment for Vortex, and that's a little bit of a concern. He's got 8 Lodger attack ships out at the moment. Going to be going for a blacksmith, looking to get that +1. Keep in mind, the attack ships from the Rus are actually affected by the blacksmith armor upgrades and the blacksmith attack upgrades. So that really starts to add up as well when you consider the amount of arrows that these guys are firing. So you can see that they've got 8 bow with 5 burst attack. That means that +1 damage is +5 damage because they've got 5 attacks. So it's a very effective upgrade to have. Whether it actually changes the thresholds, I'm not too sure, because you can see if we were to do the math here, it looks like they're doing about 5 damage a shot, so 25 in total. But one of the things to note, 11 Lodger attack ships. It seems like an awful lot more than 9. And when it comes to these battles, numbers are really what are going to be making the difference here. It looks like Mr. going to be engaging over on towards the north side. Vortex trying his best to get back. A little bit of bad pathing there, unfortunately for him, and now going to be falling back, realizing that he's outnumbered, trying his best. Mr. also continuing to push through. Looks like he's going to be able to interrupt that dock, and we can see him pushing forward and realizing that he's got the larger number advantage here, and he's going to just begin focusing down these warships. That's exactly what he needs to do. Try and bypass that dock healing, because you can see the amount of healing that the dock is able to do. It's healing up 4 or 5 ships at the moment. And so ideally you just want to be focusing those individual ships down, and that's exactly what he's doing. The numbers continuing to fall down for Vortex. He's falling lower and lower. He's down to about 5, 6 attack ships at the moment. Compare that to the Mister, who's sitting on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's not looking terrible. The main thing is that Vortex is doing a great job of falling back towards this shoreline and enabling these to stay alive a little bit longer, but it's just so hard for him because he is somewhat in a cove here. He's got himself between I'd say a rock and a hard place, but really it's like a sea and a hard place, unfortunately. And now more reinforcements coming out for Mister. He has upped the game. He's up to 2, 4, 6 of these bad boys, going up against 4 of his opponent. And you can see the health on these are a lot higher than what Vortex has got. We'll check and see whether he's managed to get that +1 upgrade in just yet. It does look like he has. So he's got slightly more attack on these, but I don't think it's going to make up for the difference between the numbers here. Unfortunately, Mister just got way too many numbers. And once all of this mass is removed off the sea, there is absolutely no way that Vortex is going to be able to regain the sea at this point in time and taps out of the game. Fellas, I know you don't always like to see a Rus mirror. I know they aren't always the prettiest, but I hope you enjoyed that one. That ties up these two players at 1-1. Make sure you check out the third game in the series. It's coming up next.